Hello and welcome to The Lab, a Minecraft podcast where we explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am MinerThoughts, and with me is my co-host, my brother from down under, the Troj. Welcome back, Troj.
Was I gone? What?
No. New week, new you.
Right. End of week, not feeling too new. It's been a week.
Same here. Yeah. I mean, it's that whole thing we said last week about, this podcast thing and the streaming thing just being part-time. Yeah, there's that other side of life that just tends to wear you down sometimes.
It does. And when you have work phone calls, in my case, work phone calls all night, you've had like a couple of hours sleep and the alarm goes off to record a podcast, it's like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Before this started, I was like, I gotta look happy. I gotta look energetic. And it's Friday, and I still gotta work tomorrow, so... Yeah.
Well, let's keep it low and lazy then, so we don't have to put too much brain thought into anything and just do feedback today.
Doing feedback. We're taking all the YouTube comments and I think at least an email that came through.
And there's a fair bit. I will preface this by saying a lot of the regulars are commenting a lot at the moment. So there's a lot of, as we go through the feedback, there'll be a lot of, hi, Devara, hi, Sim, hi, Thomas. There'll be a lot of that. And in typical Devara fashion, there is a lot of Devara-ness, we shall say. So we will have to abridge it. Otherwise, we will be here for 3 hours because Devara does not leave anything off the table. There were also some comments from Devara where she had to message me privately because it was too big for the YouTube comment section. Some of these, and there's some Devara comments, I'm sorry, Devara, that we will have to skip for time. But if anyone wants to go back and read them, Devara's comments are always well thought out and lengthy. So you're welcome to go to the YouTube page and have a look there to read them in full.
Yeah, that's the thing about Devara's comments. It's like she takes the whole podcast as a whole and almost breaks it down piece by piece and responds or comments on each thing that we say.
And that's we're not laughing or picking on Devara. It's actually awesome to see that we've got someone so into the podcast that does that. It's just when it comes to the feedback episodes, we just can't handle it all because we have to highlight everybody that's given a comment as best we can. So, but we do appreciate you.
What we're trying to say is we wish there were more Devaras. Fill those comment sections up.
Do it now. Do it. But speaking of Devara, let's kick off with Devara. And the first one was actually we're going back all the way to the Troj Talk episode where I had to go solo and because you weren't available and we couldn't get a guest in for that week. So I went all solo and
felt good, didn't it?
Huh?
Felt good, didn't it?
Felt weird. It felt weird.
You're natural. You're a natural.
Don't know about that. But
anyway,
I spoke about trying to fix Minecraft's inventory and some ideas that I had for it. And again, Devara's got over 4 paragraphs here. But the first one, Minecraft's inventory issues are well known in the community. It's needed to be updated for a long time for someone who has been playing since 1.7. Well, the slow build-up of OMG, there are so many things to carry. It wasn't as bad back then. The first big strain on the inventory came in 1.12, which was the color update where we got the multitude of colored wool blocks, all the different colors of beds and more. 1.13, the ocean update added all the plethora of coral and fish of all kinds, but it wasn't an extreme addition. The next huge strain came 1.16 with the nether update. All the new biomes and such make so many new blocks, it's a thing. And I think that's at the crux of it. They keep adding more and more and more things and not really any way to combat it. But I do want to acknowledge something since I recorded that. And it's a comment that sort of leads into Jurassic's early game. I think the inventory should stay the same and the improvements to bundles alleviate some of the initial problems until you settle. Bundles can now be crafted with leather, Plus, you can find them in chests. Also, chest boats and camels, mules, happy gas can allow for moving of more items. I think this is fair. At the time of recording, I hadn't really used the bundles too much, and my brain was set on how they had been during initial implementation and how they were in various, like the vanilla tweak ones. Since that point, Caffeinated Owl has actually got me to be a bundle enthusiast. And they really do help with the early game fill up of your inventory. They do help a lot. Are they perfect? No. Like Jurassic's also commented there about, doesn't think adding an extra line to the inventory would fix the problem. I don't think it would fix the problem either, but I still maintain that would help when you come to building, because bundles don't help you when it comes to building. Just having that extra space, I still think would be good, because you've got so much more block variety now. And I think it would be definitely a helpful thing.
Yeah, I myself have started using bundles, and it is a good early game thing. But being honest, I think there has to be like also maybe end game or mid game. I don't know if there's a difference, but maybe a higher tier of inventory management, like an upgrade, maybe enchantments or to the bundles, or enchantments to shulker boxes would be nice.
It is an issue that they probably need to look at, and hopefully they are, because if you have a look at the recent update, I think they're working on it subtly as opposed to a big overhaul. But it is as they as they work on these overhauls, though, they keep adding more stuff, which just adds to the problem. So we'll see. We also had a comment from Thomas. I think they can do a lot with storage. I like your balancing idea with the backpack, but I know you will want to be able to fly with an elytra while building with your extra backpack storage line. How about an enchantment called Secret Pocket? Put on armor that allows for 1 or 2 more slots to open added to each armor piece. Yeah, but what's the point? It's an interesting idea. You put you go get this enchantment, you put it on your armor that opens it. Why not just have it open from the word go? Like what's sort of the point of having yet another armor slot? Another enchantment that goes on your armor. Like you look at, is it legs or feet? The boots and the helmet. I think the list of them are getting like this. And for those that aren't watching, my hands went very far apart. But Thomas raises an interesting point, is, you're going to want to be able to fly with a elytra when building with your extra slot, which you can't do if you're wearing your backpack. So, yeah, that is a valid point as well.
And there's that balance that they're trying to make things feel vanilla, authentic, without going too far into modded. But I think it's been said that there's a lot that's starting to feel modded. So
yeah,
and then a fine line to try and balance on.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Popper Goat MC, hello Popper Goat, modded using backpacks and a utility belt up to 4 tools on the sidebar works beautifully for making the use of only building blocks a priority from the main inventory bar. Honestly, being a vanilla purist initially, modded with these 2 things ruined vanilla for me. And it is a very hard thing to adjust back when you've gone and played on a modded server or something for a week or a month or something, and then you come back to vanilla. It does feel very broken, I think you could say, that you don't, like, your inventory has come back a problem, because in most modded things, you're wearing the backpacks. You've got, as he said, that you can put on different slots outside of your inventory, you put all your tools, and it does feel very broken when you come back. And I know it might not sound a lot, but if you were able to have your tools like your pickaxe, your bow, your shovel and your axe out of that inventory, that's for 4 or 5 slots taken up straight away that you could be using for other things. So maybe that's the way to combat it. Take a cue from modded.
That does make sense, to have, a weapon slot or a tool slot, to free up for building blocks.
That's all the comments we had on that one. So I'd like to thank people for putting up with me for the solo one. There probably won't be too many solo Troj talks, But as a once-off here and there, maybe.
Next week, right?
No, it's real mining. It's a real mining next week. Which, speaking of, folks, we want some comments on the real mining episodes. That would be great.
Yes, because as I said in those episodes, if you have or haven't watched them, I'm running out of ideas.
How?
I don't. There's only so much I can talk about in my mining career.
That's unusual because you always talk about it.
It's often very similar stuff. Today, I drilled, and then we went boom.
What more does a man want? Maybe we want some happy gas, because our next episode was Chasing the Skies, where we broke down, the update. And another comment from Thomas. Now, I'll preface this by saying we sort of indicated we didn't like the way the happy gas looked when it had the saddle on. And I still think it looks derpy as anything, and I don't like it. It just feels out of place to me. But Thomas said, well, what do you want the happy gas saddle to look like? A simple blanket? Kind of a flying carpet? Idea! Flying carpets. We already have carpets. Maybe. I don't know. They'd be certainly faster than the happy gas, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest issue is the speed. But I mean, it's like with everything else, I was like, oh, how could we speed this up? Enchantments. But yeah, they need to fix other things before they add more things like that. So
yeah, yeah, I agree. Devara. And again, I'm going to take one line out of Devara's taking every point that we talked about. But she said, the lead changes make me super happy. Rope bridges and things are going to be so much nicer with this. And yes, having now used them because we've updated the servers and everything to that level, very good changes to the leads.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the ease of crafting them, kind of like with the bundles. All you need is string.
Which is a very good change. It also never made sense to me why you would need slime for a lead.
No idea.
And then Jurassic's, I'm overall happy with what Mojang are doing. Me too, for the most part. But some things just make you sort of scratch the old noggin and go, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's only someone we could ask,
No idea what you're talking about. Maybe we need some AI help to get us through that. Maybe. Because the next episode was AI in Minecraft. Creative tool or creativity killer. And I'm going to just read this Devara comment in full. My response for this was way too long, so I sent the word Dr. Troj. Heart emoji. It was very long and lengthy. And I think that's one that we may at some point in the future circle back to and treat that as a Devara specific episode, because it was very lengthy and very well thought out and raised a lot of good points. So we're going to gloss over that one for now. And we're going to go to Sim's comment. So when I get to my car on a Monday morning, I pop the new episode into the queue on Spotify and listen on my way to work. And I'm not going to lie. That intro had me a bit confused and thinking, why is a guest doing the intro? That's not right. Where's Miner? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that would be very weird. So if you don't remember that episode, we had, thanks to MinerThoughts, had made an AI doing the intro, and it was obviously not our voices. And I read that part of Sim's comment because I think it actually highlights a problem with AI is you don't know what's real and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's becoming more and more a problem as well. Now, in the last couple of weeks, was it last week, I think it was, there was a bit of a kerfuffle over on Twitter. There was this new server that was trying to start up and had approached so many creators. Me included. I never bothered replying to it because it just didn't feel right. Like something felt off for me on it. I didn't know what. And I'm not going to say who, but someone that I know and I am friends with got announced as being someone that was going to join on for launch day. And it turned out that the images that they'd used to announce this creator was AI. They'd basically taken this person's logo without permission, put it into an AI generator with their other things and said, smash it all together. and was AI generated. And then people started piling onto it and looking at it, and everything that they had was AI generated. If you use AI generated stuff, it brings into question your content and your whatever it is you're doing, and then the question is, okay, you're saying you've got this massive server as a PvP server, are the builds actually yours? And then this server really started doubling down on them and very unprofessional replies, calling people that were calling them out using the F word and all sorts of stuff. And I just said to, and it was affecting the person that I know, and they were messaging me basically that whole day with, what's going on. And then other creators piled on saying you should know better. The thing is, if you're just taking a quick look at something, particularly late at night when some of this stuff is happening in Aussie time, you don't automatically notice that something is AI generated until you actually sit down and go over it sometimes with a fine-tooth comb, because it's getting so much better. And that is a problem, because you don't know what's right at times. And, I'm not a fan of the AI generated stuff. Have I used it in the past? Yes, 100% I have, because I don't have the skill to do it. I have stopped because I have understood that, support the real artist, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. Do I understand why people go to that route? Yes, I do. Some people might not have the financial capacity to engage a real artist. Some people might not have the artistic skill to pull something off themselves, so they go that way. But if you get called out for it, don't have your next social media post be an AI generated image with the word F you on it, because that is just not professional. If you're trying to set up something, be professional. Don't do that. That's just wrong. But where it stemmed from was the AI was very hard to detect unless you took a good hard look at the image.
I must have missed that one. Totally missed that one.
Yeah, look, I think unless you were looking at that particular server, the only reason I had was because they had messaged me saying, hey, would you like to be a part of this? And I didn't bother replying because there just something didn't feel right about it. And then, when you go looking at the owners of that server and whatever, and it's like, and their own personal social media accounts, it's like, and the person I know, the friend of mine that got sort of caught up as the innocent bystander in all this, I basically said to that person, look, I think you dodged a bullet. It'll gloss over, it'll blow over for you. For them, it probably won't. For you, it'll, you've done the right thing. You publicly said you'd right. Disendorse it. You've pulled out of it, out of the event. You've done everything right. Just let it go. Don't worry about the people picking on you right now. It'll blow over. But you've dodged a bullet because they don't seem overly professional, and you don't want to be connected with something like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another one of those emerging technologies that just, I've seen more arguments for against the use of it than I have for the actual benefits to it. A lot of stuff coming out is in the creative sphere, whether it's music or videos or, artwork, and even stories and RPGs, that we've gotten into. There are companies that are using AI images and they're getting called out for it. And those communities, especially any type of creative community, they're there a lot of time to support each other, to use the real artists, we have people within Interrealms that we have vetted, they're part of the community, that we know, that their stuff is authentic. So, when someone comes in and says, hey, I could provide you with this or that, like, I don't know. I've looked at your portfolio and it just seems off.
Yeah. And a lot of these ones that you get messaged, like as a creator, not so much on Discord, but on Twitter or X, I get hit up on the daily by multiple, hey, I'm an artist. I've looked at all your stuff. It needs a serious upgrade. And you look at it and you go, it's the same as what everyone else does. It's very generic. This is AI. Bye-bye. And
Yeah.
I use Blind Cubsy for everything. He does everything for me. From my overlays to my emotes, my logos, everything, including my real stuff in real life for my business. So, it's just support a real artist.
Yeah, and and you're right. It's hard to tell anymore. We must be hitting the big time because we are constantly getting emails in the lab email inbox of we can increase your follows and we can do this for you and we can do that. Hey, we can help you increase your following, and I just question every single one of them.
Yeah, and the problem, this is sort of moving off the AI thing as well, is ever since I crossed the 1,000 follower mark on Twitch, my business email, personal for Troj, the Troj brand, is just smashed probably every couple of days by, here's a collab for this. Are you interested in this? This is a paid collab. And you're looking and you're going, as someone who's just come into this level, is how do you know what's right, what's wrong? How do you know what is actually authentic and what's not? And it just makes you very nervous because you're then putting your brand onto something. And just like what happened with that friend of mine, they got caught up with the AI thing and that server, is your brand can take a hit even if it's short term as a content creator. So it's such a minefield out there in many, many ways.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes me nervous to say yes to any of them because some of them could be great opportunities, but how do you know?
How do you know? Exactly.
How do you know? But the other thing that we touched on in that episode was, using Axiom and things like that. Is it sort of taking it too far down that sphere? And a couple of people said the same thing when it comes to Axiom, but I'll read Joush's. Hello, Joush. Axiom is a tool. If you know how to use it and you have a vision, you can very fast bring your vision to life. If you don't have a vision, you can still create amazing things, but in a more trial and error approach. Do both products have the same value? Not for me, but I don't care if someone uses the second approach if the product they come up with makes them happy. In the end, they put some effort in there. There is a difference, like there is a difference between Da Vinci and my neighbor Paul that is not a Da Vinci. Very valid comments, and I tend to agree. Axiom is a tool. Not everyone can use it equally, because not everyone has the same skill. You look at it like a cobble car using Axiom, you sit there and you go, whoa. And you look at me using Axiom, and you go, meh. So, it's definitely a tool to use. I think where I was more coming with, I'll circle back to that comment. I think people the train just left the station. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Where I was going in that episode is where does it happen though that someone makes a program that just say, I want to build this, and it builds it for you, designs it for you, blocks and everything. That I think would start to really destroy the magic of Minecraft content creation, especially.
Well, it's like I've equated Axiom to something, especially with the UI and the layout, is almost like Photoshop for Minecraft, or for creative Minecraft. And Adobe has added generative AI within their Photoshop program to where you can you circle this and say, no, this is what I want. Put a sunset here, and it will do it for you. You don't have to draw it. You don't have to put it in. So yeah, if Axiom had something like that to where I don't like that block palette. Give me something more earthy, where you had to put in a prompt. Yeah, that would be that line of to where it's more generative AI.
Yeah, it can sort of do that, but you've got to tell it the palette, and then it'll go and it will change the palette of the build to make it, so to speak. But it's not actually just going, do it for me. You've actually got to physically say, use this block, this block, this block, this block, and go. But yeah, it was an interesting chat, that one, for sure. Then we moved on to talking about Hightail being cancelled, and I know that it's come back around.
Yeah. And every time I bring it up, you're like, So over it.
Look, I think
It's
look,
not,
I'm sorry.
not
It has
going
had
anywhere.
its chance. It's had its time. Put a bullet in it and bury it. Like, it is done.
Yeah, like, throw, put a bullet in it, put it in the ground, throw away the shovel. Just, it's done.
It's done. It's had its time. Any goodwill it's had from me at this point is done. And I know you keep harping on about, oh, they've got this legacy thing that's all complete and ready to go.
Well,
Bull, they do. I tell you, it's rubbish,
okay.
and I can prove it.
I don't. No one has to prove it. Like I said in the Discord, I'm an optimist. You know, when someone that's passionate about it, you know, that is willing to, you know, try and at least make the effort to talk to, you know, the people that bought his game and say, hey, you know, any chance of me getting it back? You know, at least you tried. If they say no, they say no. But at the same time, you know, if he's just going to give it a shot, you know, yeah, they screwed up in the beginning, and that's probably going to hurt him. But it could, you know, and I think of it like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky came out and promised to be this awesome space adventure type game, promising all these different things. And when it came out, it was not what they had promised.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you know, they got, you know, demolished in reviews and whatnot about it. But they went back to basics. They went back to the beginning, and update after update, No Man's Sky has become the game it should have been. And I'm trying to think of Hytale being the same thing, that if they just start over and go back to basics
Again,
it could be. It could be.
the thing
But
is,
if it
though,
isn't,
right?
if it isn't, then I'm you know,
You
because
sort of just proved that they don't actually have a full legacy thing ready to launch, ready to run, because No Man's Sky put out what they had.
but they
Now you would
overpromised.
overpromised, underdelivered, irrelevant. What they had, they
Yeah.
put out. This guy's sitting there saying, "Hey, we've got a full legacy thing ready to go. Where is it?" You know, you would have to be the most monumentally stupid business person that if you had a version of the game that could go out and not release it after you've spent millions on it, makes
That
no
is
sense
true.
to me. I can't understand if that was true, if that had any semblance of accuracy to it. I can't understand why someone, was it Riot Games that bought it, that owned it? Would they not put it out to recoup some of their money? Even if it got review bombed, right?
Well,
Would they not put it out?
I've had some discussions with people that are a lot more familiar with Riot Games and how they operate their business. They have so many different things that they're working on that never ever see the light of day, and they're such a big company that they could take the hit. I mean, they could pour money into something and it just not be what they want, and they'll just like, fine, we'll put it on the shelf.
I guess time will tell. If the guy gets it back and it doesn't come out that he's promised, that, you know, we've got a legacy version, it will release that. If it doesn't come out after he gets his hand back on it, stick it in the fridge, because that meal is done.
I asked Logical Geek Boy and Paul Source Jr. and Simon from Hytale if they wanted to be on the show. Logical came on. So Simon, if you want to come on, if you listen to this and you want to come on and defend yourself, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you.
You'll be on solo, because I'm not going to give advertising time to something that seems like a dead end. I'm sorry. It'll be you and him. That's it. I'll take that week off.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really Minecraft, but at one point it was touted to be the Minecraft killer. So
yeah,
I don't think it ever will be, you know, at this point.
I don't think there's much that's going to kill Minecraft. It's got too much of a roll on, to be honest.
We can move on from that.
We can. The return of the Copper Golem. We had a couple of comments here. One from Sling. I think this copper update is probably the most promising of the year. It's been long overdue to have a prettier storage, and copper gear seems like a natural thing to add. The golem is definitely the most exciting and controversial, and I can definitely see pros and cons. I think they'll be more useful for early game sorting or for players who can't or don't want to build an auto sorter. I mean, there's still problems with it, but I think, the longer that they're out there, people like Raiseworks, Mumbo, Azuma are going to find ways to integrate them into the sorting system. And if you look at ones like Mumbo's, they're not actually killing the auto sorter system, they're enhancing it. So, but we still need a lot more tweaking to it.
Yeah.
As for Sim, I completely agree with your comment about the ghast. For me, it feels wrong to have a ghast in the overworld. I know that there's mods around with all sorts of creatures, but I would have rather seen them add in dragons or some other flying creature, or even a functioning hot air balloon would have been better. Hot air balloon would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. I was one of those that said I don't see the point of copper tools and armor. I can totally understand what you and some others were saying, that it's easier to find over iron. I wonder what the durability will be like, if it's better, worse than gold. Though maybe because of the quantities you can get copper, that probably won't matter even a little bit. I think copper, armor, and tools will get used more than people think it will in early game.
Oh, definitely.
Not for long, but for early game.
Yeah.
And I recently started a single player hardcore world. And I, for one, have found a lot of copper before I found much of anything else. And just to get started, you want to give yourself the best chance of protection. So, yeah, I would have upgraded from leather to copper pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
So, yeah.
But I think what people are really excited for is the other copper variants, the building stuff of the copper.
And the longer time goes on, the better that gets. So since we recorded that one, and that episode was entitled Return of the Copper Golem, but we covered everything that they announced up to that point with copper. But, we've got all the variations of different copper bits and pieces now as well. And they oxidize, and, adding more items to the inventory problem, more variety of blocks to build with and play with. So the positive outweighs the negative. Give us more to play with. But please fix the inventory. Then we had the amazing Logical Geek Boy.
Yes.
And I can honestly say it got some people on Interrealms quite excited that we'd managed to get such a person to guest, which was amazing. Comment from Thomas: great episode. Thanks for visiting Logic. From Naomi: thank you, gentlemen. It was an enjoyable listen. And then Devara. Very, very long one, but I'll just keep it short and simple. Love the collab with Logic on this. I've also learned a good bit from Logic series. And again, yes, Logic was one of the main two that I watched and listened to when I first started learning Minecraft. So it was very surreal that, and having him now as a friend on Discord and say, I actually messaged him yesterday and asked him a question. So, it's surreal. It's very surreal.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, just, some of the guests that we've had on, on this podcast, it just seems surreal. It just seems to be getting better. And I'm just honored to have Logical on. And there's just, we could have talked so much longer. There's so many questions, but, we try to give them a chance to talk and talk about their experiences and what they're working on and whatnot. And
I guess I'm always left wanting more when we have someone like a Logic or a Raiseworks. We're always left wanting more. And you look at the time and you go, now time's up, sort of thing. And I have no doubt the next guest that we have lined up, we're going to very much be at that point. And I think it's going to be a longer episode. I have that feeling straight up.
Yeah. And, we were talking, I was so into talking to Logical that I wasn't aware of the time, the time zones, and trying to arrange these guests sometimes is very tricky for us to do. And I was like, oh wow, it's close to midnight for Logical
Yeah, I was
And,
very aware
I
of
was
that
probably
we had
getting
to.
tired.
Yeah, I was very aware watching that one that we had to keep it pretty strict on time because of the time zone that we had to do it. But yeah, no, Logic. If you are listening to this, you ever want to come back, by all means, very welcome. But I think we need to actually thank each and every person that downloads our episodes, listens, comments.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't comment or reach out to us and you just listen to it, like the growth numbers on the podcast are actually insane to watch. Somewhere in the world, every single day, someone is listening to us. That's what the stats show, and that is really amazing to think about. And the reason we're able to get people like Logic and Raiseworks and the like on the show is simply because you guys listen to it so much. It's one of the highest listened to Minecraft podcasts in the world, and that blows my mind. And we're only getting to that point because of you. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I know it on YouTube. It doesn't show, but we're getting close to 100 subscribers.
There's a very
so,
big disconnect, I think, with podcasts on YouTube.
Oh, definitely.
As opposed to what you have on the like the Spotify's,
because if you
Apples,
looked at
and
the analytics, versus it's like we're here on streaming services, and down here with YouTube. And they're just not set up as well for podcasts. But wherever you watch us, we appreciate it.
It all adds up at the end of the day. So we are getting close to the 100 subscribers on YouTube, though. That'd be cool. But yeah, we then made another episode talking about the Copper Golem again, and we called it Sorting Savior or Rusty Relic. And that was talking about the trouble that people are having getting them to work. Again, very lengthy Devara comment. But one thing she mentioned here, because we did mention about the shells, and I said that I didn't like it how it had set it on the bottom. I wanted it back in the middle. She goes, with the items in the shelves, they are standard in the middle, but you can toggle it to being on the bottom of the shelf now. That might change again, but for now it's both. Yes, at the time of your comment, but at the time of recording, it wasn't that way. There was a change in how it worked between the two, recording time and your comment time.
Yeah, but that goes to show that that was one of those things where the Mojang is listening. You don't think that they're just like not listening.
They listen.
Yeah,
and they watch.
Yeah.
Another comment from Thomas. Let's hope it's fun. Hate to say, I haven't thought much of the new drops. I'm still waiting to do half the past releases. Finally did part of a Bastion. Thomas, you're very behind if you only just do a Bastions. Great information here. Thanks for keeping me updated. That is one thing with how quick they're putting out stuff, though, is even myself, it's hard to keep up, particularly when you're playing on something like Interrealms where we don't update every single update. And then all of a sudden you get all this stuff and it's like, whoa, the animals look different. I understand what he's saying with that one. And then we had an email from Owen. Hello, Owen. Yeah, so with these copper golems and allowing them to free roam and such, you could make an open sugarcane or a farm that drop items and don't add a collection system and a chest in your base and just allow them to roam. And every once in a while, grab some sugarcane, bring it to a chest in your base and let them be a bunch of chill-free roaming guys. They don't quite work like that.
That's more like an LA.
I was going to say that's an LA. So yeah, you could definitely have an open farm. And I've used a lay like that in ink farms and glow ink farms, and you could definitely use it across that for sugarcane and all sorts of stuff, 100%. And in fact, it'd probably make, now that I'm thinking about that, thank you, Owen, if you chucked an allay into a sugarcane farm, it'd make it 100% lossless.
I did that for an ice farm, and it worked somewhat okay.
But with the copper golems, you've got to put the stuff into their copper chest, and then they'll take it from the copper chest and put it into other chests. So they can't just be in a farm as such like that. But, you could definitely have ways where, maybe your farm goes into the copper chest and they run it over to somewhere else to your storage system. That could work. And then we had the one on how to grow as a Minecraft streamer. And since we put that one out, I don't know whether people are following from there or what, I don't know, but the amount of follows that I've got over on Twitch is insane. I'm actually getting close now to 1,400. So if you are listening to this and you want to help a brother out, go over to Twitch, drop a follow. I'm not going to say no. But we had a lot of people actually come in and say hello from the podcast, so which is cool to see. But we had a few comments here. One from B the Seer. B is someone that has recently followed me on Twitch and is now following things through everywhere, which is great to see. And this comment actually was one of those moments where you go, we are inspiring. It was like a nice, we are, encouraging people the right way to get and give things a go. Troj, you have pulled me out of wanting to give up on my dream to make content. I also want to say that I love the podcast. Firstly, thank you for loving the podcast. And it's really nice to see that when you're talking about these sort of things, people get inspired to pick their dreams back up. Okay, moving on. Cobble K, great stream.
Are you talking about me streaming? No, funny story. The Bearded Bard and I, on the way home today, on the way home from work, we're talking about streaming. We have both signed up for the live stream weekend coming up here in September for Interrealms. So yeah, we're both can be on the live stream weekend, and just talking about wanting to just stream something. I mean, yeah, the community tends to watch the Interrealm stuff, but just getting back into the groove, just doing it. Like we said, just doing it.
You got to hit the go live button. If you don't hit the go live button, nothing happens. You hit the go live button, and it happens. Cobble K, great stream, guys. Some useful tips, and I can't wait to see who the next guest is. There is one, we promise. It's just a time zone thing at the moment is causing a problem, and plus busyness for everybody, the three of us involved. So it is definitely lined up though. Kennedy, I hope I got that right. I want to try streaming Minecraft soon. Well, give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. Give it a go. And I think my niche could be teaching people about animals through the game. That sounds great. Give it a go. If that's your passion and what you want to focus on, put it out there. Just do it. Do it now.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Thanks, Shia. And then SB, I heard buy more stream decks. You don't need any SB.
I was wondering if he would have caught that because you said it really quick.
But it does come back to, at the end of the day, don't think you need all the bells and whistles if you're thinking of just giving it a go. And as we said, just give it a go. You don't need a stream deck. You don't need... I don't have a stream deck.
No.
I use an app called Touch Portal, which I think is actually better than a stream deck, but for the dollar value to usefulness. So you don't need all the bells and whistles. You don't even need that app. You just use the OBS or the Stream Labs. You still do it from there.
See, and I think another thing that I didn't mention is, say you want to get into streaming, but you think, oh, I need all this stuff right away. I didn't get all, my stuff all at one point. I had a basic camera, then I upgraded to a better camera. I had a basic microphone, then I upgraded that. Then I do have 2 stream decks. I had one, and then that one was gifted to my son, the Bearded Bard, and then I got a different one, the upgrade. You don't have to get everything right away. Kind of build it in stages, as, life and budget allows.
And I'm fortunate enough that I've got a decent setup now for making content and streaming, but I definitely didn't have it when I started. And I'm fortunate enough that I've got a very wonderful community, and I've been able to fund my upgrades from Twitch payouts. So, but I didn't run out and spend all that money until the budget allowed it. The key to it is not how much tech you have. The key to it is how consistent you are and your interactions with your community, with your chat. You have to build those 2 things up. And Miner, we're now caught up, and it's almost an hour that we've been recording for.
And it is time for bed.
No, it's time for lunch. But how about you, if people want to continue to send us feedback, because we love getting feedback and we actually want more of it. The more we get, the more frequent we'll do these sort of episodes. But Miner, how do people give us feedback?
Well, of course, reach us on the Discord, the Interims Discord. We're always discussing Minecraft or food or whatever over there on the Interims Discord. It is growing, just like this podcast. The Discord, I think, is up over 400 people now.
Way over 400 now, yep.
Anyway, that's where you can always find someone chatting. But if you don't want to do that, you can go to the email. Send us a private message through the email at minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can reach us on the socials at Twitter X is mclab_podcast, or on Blue Sky at LabMC Podcast, or down here in the comments. Leave us a comment. Of course, leave the like and subscribe while you're at it. YouTube, if you're going to do that thing where you make the subscribe button light up when I say subscribe, do that now.
Do it now!
Yeah, there's a multitude of ways to get a hold of us. And then if you want to find all these podcasts, links, and more, you can do it on the interimssmp.com website.
And not forgetting, we want to encourage Miner to get back to that consistency when it comes to streaming. I mean, just streaming in general, but consistency. So head also down to the links, find the Twitch links, and drop follows on both of us. That'd be great. That way I can get to 1,400 and Miner can get encouraged. Help us out.
It's going to be on the weekends, folks. Mostly on the weekends.
But with that, we hope for more feedback, and we're actually caught up on our feedback now. So yeah,
we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
This has been a production of the Interims Podcast Network. For more information, go to podcast.interimssmp.com. You can see that full link in the description of this episode. Thank you for listening.